G.L. Fiontas, he's a Mexican writer. He is a Mexican novelist, poet, and journalist. Lencho's house is on a hill. Since we are going to talk about Lencho, we are going to delve deeper into Lencho's story. What is the story about? So, let's see the introduction to the story. The story is about Lencho, as we have discussed, a poor farmer, but there is also one more character, which is the postmaster, and the third character is God. But there is a question mark. So does God even exist in the story? Hello students, welcome to the exciting English class. We are going to cover a letter to God in this video. In the previous video, we have done line by line explanation of the same story, which is written by G.L. Fiontas, and in this particular video, we are going to discuss detailed summary along with its themes, messages, and also there is one extra bonus learning point which is packed for you all. We are also going to discuss some extra question answers that are frequently asked, or maybe important questions that are asked in the exams, in your CBSE exams. So for your examination point of view also, this particular video is going to help you. So this is now going to cover your detailed summary and everything which is important for this particular chapter. So let's just get started with this video. So our chapter is a letter to God. We are now discussing the summary. Let's see all the parts of the summary. Since this is going to be a detailed summary, so I have created this in such a manner that it will be unveiled. Some part of the story will be unveiled part by parts. All right, let's start. Okay, so we are talking about a simple farmer and his life in this chapter, a letter to God. So what happens in this chapter is that the story is set in a rural Mexican countryside. So what is the setting? It is a rural Mexican countryside where Lencho, who is the poor farmer, he is a poor but hard-working farmer. Although he is poor, but he is hard-working. He lives with his family in a modest house on a hill. So basically, this is the particular setting for you, which is the Mexican countryside, and where he lives with his family, along with his family, on a hill. All right, let's see the next part. So what is he like? He is a deeply religious and an optimistic person, and he believes in God, right? This is why he is being called deeply religious, and he is a positive kind of man. He is not a pessimistic man. Okay, so he relies completely on farming for his survival. So since he is a farmer, he completely relies on farming for his livelihood. Let's see the next part. So his crops, Lencho's crops are growing well, but then something happens. But his fields desperately need rain to ensure a good harvest. So although his crops are growing well, but they still need some water, right? So for that, to ensure a good harvest, they need rain. One day, now the story holds this part for us, that one day dark clouds gather, and what is going to happen, children, now? So if the clouds have gathered, probably it's going to rain. So let's see what happens next, whether it rains or not. So when it rains, Lencho becomes hopeful that rain will come soon. So when dark clouds are formed, Lencho becomes hopeful that now rain will come. But let's see whether that rain comes or not. Okay, let's move to the next part of the summary, which is now the rain turns into a disaster. So now with the heading, this is quite evident that rain is going to pour down, but it is going to turn into a disaster. Let's see what happens next. So as expected, rain starts falling and Lencho is overjoyed. So since there were grey clouds and there were black clouds, obviously it was going to rain. But let's see. So he watches the big raindrops fall like coins from the sky. So why coins? Because these coins are a symbol for hope and a symbol of money, of growth. All right. Because if crop will be grown because of the water being poured on them, then it will generate money, it will generate growth for Lencho's family, growth in terms of basically sustaining a livelihood, right? Okay, so then he watches big raindrops like fall like coins from the sky, imagining a prosperous harvest. So why is he thinking that raindrops are like coins? Because he is thinking of a prosperous harvest. But soon the rain turns into a hailstorm, and it brought about destruction instead of blessing. So what happened next? Now this rain is not proving to be fruitful. Instead, it is proving to be a disaster because it has now turned to a hailstorm and it is causing destruction. So it is not actually a blessing in disguise, but a problem, a disaster in disguise. Within minutes, the entire field is ruined, because obviously you would be knowing this, that if it hails a lot, then what will happen to the crops? The crops are going to get devastated, right? And that is what happened here. Within minutes, the entire field is ruined. Not a single plant survives the storm. And since the storm was so heavy, it was a heavy hailstorm, so that is why the crop could not take it and it got ruined. Okay, now see that there has been a complete description and usage of imagery in the story. And what is imagery? Imagery is when writers use this poetic device for you to imagine well, imagine the scene well. So you may use your five senses to imagine that particular scene, and you picturize it as if you are living that scene. All right. So in the story, imagery has been used. The hail is described as frozen pearls. What is frozen pearls? So hail has been described as frozen pearls. This is why you can now imagine the hailstorms to be like crystal white, all right, clear and crystal white. And this is how you are now, when I'm saying that clear and crystal white and frozen pearls, so you're able to picturize the stones as something like frozen pearls. So this is nothing but imagery, making the storm seem beautiful yet destructive. So it was pearl, but it was frozen. So it tells us the contradiction of the hailstone looking like a frozen pearl. So though it was beautiful, but it was destructive. All right, let's now move to the next part. Definitely now something is going to happen. The crop is ruined, and the title of the story goes like a letter to God. Something is going to happen, maybe a little bit help from God. Let's see what happens next. All right, so now comes the part where despair and Lencho's unshakable faith in God appears. So there is going to be despair, definitely. Lencho is going to regret about his loss of harvest, but then there is unshakable faith in God too, and that is going to work for him. Let's see how did that work for him, or how will it work for him. Okay, Lencho and his family was devastated now, and their entire livelihood is gone, because their livelihood is that agricultural field. They know that without crops they will have no food and no money left. So where they are going to go. However, instead of losing hope, now when you will read this part, instead of losing hope, you are already seeing that coming, right? That Lencho is an optimistic man. Lencho is deeply religious. So what he believes is, he believes in God. He believes that God will make everything fall into its place and will make everything all right. All right, so Lencho decides to seek help from the one he trusts the most. And who is he? It's none other than God. Okay, so his faith is so strong that he believes God will send him money to survive. So you can see that how beautiful the relationship between God and Lencho is showed here, is portrayed here by the writer, by writing that he had so much of faith in God that he knew that if he will ask or seek help from God, he will definitely get money. Okay, so now comes a question in our mind, that do you think that faith can truly bring miracles? Do you think that faith brings miracles? I hope you would have an answer for the same. If yes, please comment down below in the comment section. Okay, so why or why not? You may justify yourselves whether faith brings miracles in people's life or not. All right, let's go on to the next part. So now the next part goes like, we are going to discuss about Lencho writes letter to the god, to a god. Okay, so when he sees that everything has been devastated, the livelihood, he has lost the livelihood, which is his agricultural field. So he has lost the harvest. The harvest is ruined now. So something is going to happen. So what he is going to do? So he is going to seek help from God. And how is he going to seek help from God? By writing a letter to God. So let's unveil the next part. Instead of asking his neighbors or relatives for help, who is he going to write? He's going to write to or ask to. Lencho is going to write a letter to God explaining his situation. And now, students, we are talking about the years when there was only one way of communication, which was God. Those were not the days when there used to be a phone, or there used to be text messages, or you could just DM your relatives, or you could not DM God, right? So that is what Lencho was left with. Lencho was left with writing a letter to God. So he, instead of writing his relatives, he thought of writing it to God. In the letter, what did he write? He wrote that he wanted 100 pesos to replant his crops and support his family. So he directly came to the point and written and asked for what he wanted, and it was 100 pesos. He takes the letter to the post office and addresses it to God. And you all know that, right? That God does not have any address. God, though it lies in our own heart and mind, it doesn't have any physical address. So, believing with full confidence that God will reply. So, but Lencho's faith in God was unshakable. He was in under the impression that God will help him. So he actually wrote a letter addressing it to God. But then what happens? We will unveil that. Okay. So now comes the point where we see symbolism in the story. It is yet again one more poetic device. The letter symbolizes Lencho's complete trust in divine power, which is God. So this letter to God is a great uh, it is a great symbol of trust, of some people having trust in the divine or ultimate power. Let's see the next part of the story, how it goes like. The postmaster surprise and kindness. So now postmaster does something kind and there is a surprise. So by reading this particular title, you can already foresee what is going to happen in the story. But let's still discuss. So at the post office, when the postman sees that Lencho has written a letter to God, addressing it to God. Now, where to send this particular letter to? Because there is no physical address of God. So let's see. At the post office, the postman sees the letter and laughs. He has never seen anyone writing to God before. That is very unusual. Nobody writes to God because everybody knows that God does not have any physical address. However, when the postmaster reads the letter, he is deeply touched by Lencho's strong faith. Okay, so though they found it quite satirical, but but the postmaster was influenced and was taken and was deeply touched by how Lencho actually trusted God. Okay, so he decides to help Lencho. Now, are you seeing that now, after noticing that he has such deep faith in God, he did not want to disappoint Lencho. Rather, he wanted to build his trust and keep his trust in God. So, he decides to help Lencho himself, collecting money from his staff and friends. So, how did he keep the trust of Lencho in his God? By collecting money from his staff and friends. So, you can see that how postmaster took the pain to collect the money for Lencho. But they managed to collect only 70 pesos instead of 100, which Lencho required, which the farmer required. The postmaster places the money in an envelope and signs it from God to keep Lencho's faith intact. And this is what the postmaster did next, that he took an envelope and put the entire money into that envelope, and then written the name like that was signed, that he wrote the letter with just 2 words, which is from God. We will see what happens next in the story, but before that, let's discuss this, that would you ever help a stranger like the postmaster did? Why or why not? Okay, again, I would like to know your answers in the comment section. Let's see now what happens next in the story. All right, so when Lencho receives the letter with the money, he is not surprised. So when Lencho receives the letter which had 70 pesos, and how much money did Lencho ask for from God? He asked for 100 pesos. So when he saw that envelope with 70 pesos, he was not surprised. It had to be like that. So he thought that, he imagined that, and he had full faith in God that if he had seeked and asked for help from God, he is definitely going to get the money. Alright, so this is what his perception was. So he was not surprised. He knew that God would help him. But when he counts the money, it was only 70 pesos. And you can now see that he becomes angry on God, that how can you not give me my 30 pesos when I clearly asked for 100 pesos. So it was not the anger on God, but instead, let's see who was the anger upon. So instead of being grateful, he does not get grateful that he got 70 pesos. He already knew that he would get the money because he has complete trust in God. So he believes that the post office employees must have stolen the missing 30 pesos. So whom did he doubt upon? He doubted the post office people, that it is these people who have taken the money. God would have sent 100 pesos if I have asked for 100 pesos. It is not possible that God would not send me the extra 30 pesos. So definitely it is the post office people. So he writes another letter to God, and what did that say? That is going to be quite satirical. God, please send me the rest of the money, which is 30 pesos, but don't send it through the post office. Why? Because they are thieves. They are a bunch of crooks. This is what the original letter had written. This is just a summary. This is why I have changed the words here. So that is what Lencho said, and this is how beautifully the story ends. A story, a beautiful story of how a poor farmer believes God, and he trusts God that if he have asked for help from God, he will definitely going to get it. But here comes the irony in the story, that the post office people actually helped Lencho. They did not steal money, and here comes the irony, that the very people who have helped Lencho are the ones he accuses of being thieves. That is the irony of the story. So while there is imagery being used, symbolism being used, there is also irony in the story, that the very people who have helped Lencho were being accused of stealing. All right. Now let's discuss the themes of this story. Okay, so the themes of this story is, first, it is a beautiful story of faith and hope, that Lencho's belief in God is unshakable. So you can write through your answers, students, you can write these 2 words, unshakable, faith and belief. Okay, kindness in humanity, the postmaster's good heart. That is the second theme of this chapter. And then see the third one, which is the irony, that Lencho distrusts the very people who helped him. And who were those people, children? Those were none other than the post office people. Okay, and now comes the irony, which we have already discussed, that Lencho trusts God but doubts humans. That is quite satirical and ironical. Irony, that the post office staff helped him, yet he called them thieves. Okay, and now comes the message, that faith is a powerful tool if you use it judiciously and wisely. Sometimes humans are God's way of helping us. So faith is powerful. Though faith is powerful, but it is sometimes that the help to us is being given in a way, in a human form. Okay, so though the divine power might be helping you, but it comes through humans only, right? That is what the message of this story is. And also we should be grateful for kindness instead of doubting others. So many a times people help you without you knowing them, or without them letting you know about it. So do not doubt them. Instead, you should be grateful, you should have gratitude towards such people that they have helped you. Alright, so this was a story, this was the message of the story, and now comes the bonus part that I was talking about, that we are going to cover all the literary techniques and the poetic devices which we have already discussed in the last slides also, which are being given in this chapter and are clearly mentioned. So we are going to cover that. So summary of the literary devices that we are going to do. The first one is imagery, that we have already done. It is, what is imagery? It is creating vivid pictures with words. When you are easily able to imagine and picturize what the author is saying, forming in such a way that it forms a picture in your mind. So when you read the first two paragraphs, you will realize that there is a huge usage of imagery. Or you can just see the first part of the same series, that where we have done line by line explanations. So when you will read that, the first two paragraphs, you will see such kind of phrases: huge mountains of clouds. Okay, so this is nothing but imagery, that it helps you in imagining well. The first two paragraphs are imagery. Okay, let's see the second one, which is personification. Personification is what? Giving human qualities to non-human things. So there is a usage of personification too in this chapter. So you can see this particular example. The house sat on the crest of a low hill. So can the house sit? It is a human trait, right? It is a human attribute. A house cannot do that. This is nothing but personification. It is because of the human attribute of sitting. Okay, next one is symbolism, which we have already discussed. Using objects to represent deeper meaning, like the letter tells us the faith in God, the storm tells us the destruction of hope. And also there was one more symbol, which was the coins, the rain dropping like coins. That was also a symbol. Okay, the next one, a contrast between expectations and reality, that what you expect is not delivered by one, maybe is delivered by the other one, but then that is the expectation and reality. Okay, so Lencho receives help but thinks post office workers stole his money. And the last one, which is hyperbole, which is exaggeration for effect. So when Lencho shows his faith, that is nothing but hyperbole, because how can someone actually write to God and addressing it to God, because we all know that God does not have any address. So Lencho's absolute belief in receiving money from God, that is also hyperbole, because he was not surprised, he was not shocked when he saw the money from the envelope. He expected it very much. All right, that is what the usage was. Let's now discuss some questions. All right, here goes the first one. Why did Lencho say the raindrops were like new coins? Okay, and the second one goes like, how did the rain change what happened to Lencho's fields? I will like you to pause the video and read the answers by yourself, and then we will discuss. Alright, I hope you would have read the answers. Let's see. Why did Lencho say that the raindrops were like new coins? We have already discussed it. We are just going to read this answer. After the rain shower, everything was going as per Lencho's plan, and he had immense confidence that his harvest would yield sustained profits. Thus, he referred to the droplets as new coins, the larger ones being equivalent to 10 pesos, and the smaller ones were the 5 pesos. So basically the coin symbolized growth and money. Money which he was about to gain and earn from the from the selling of those crops. All right, let's see the next one. How did the rain change what happened to Lencho's field? We already know the answers, right? That what happened to the field? The field, he was expecting rain, but then it actually rained cats and dogs, and it hailed there. There was a huge hailstorm, because of which the crop was completely ruined. So that is what happened. Soon after the rainfall had begun, the wind became strong, leading to a hailstorm, as a result of which Lencho's crop fields got withered, the trees had shed their leaves, and the flowers had fallen. So that is what happened. Okay, next one. Why does the postmaster send money to Lencho? Why does he sign the letter God? So we all know that out of kindness, and to sustain and to keep his belief in God sustained, he helped Lencho. But what did he receive in return? And we know that too. Why does he sign the letter God? Just to not shake Lencho's unshakable faith in God. All right. Let's see the answer still. The postmaster did not want to shake the writer's faith in the Almighty, and thus, out of virtuous intentions, decided to collect money for an act of charity. He also signed the letter in the name of God to conceal his identity, as he wanted Lencho to think it was actually a reply from God. So he wanted to keep his trust in God. Let's see the next question, which is, did Lencho try to find out who had sent the money to him? Why or why not? Okay, so no, Lencho did not try to find out, because he had believe in God, because he was very much optimistic about the existence of Almighty, of God, and that his letter is actually received and replied to by God. It was his unshakable faith that made him not question the identity of the sender, which was a human, which we all know that, right? Let's move on to our next question, which is, how did the postmaster and post office employees help Lencho? They all gave their part of the salary and donated some money to him. And how did he react to their help? And we know that how did he react? He called them a bunch of crooks and thieves. All right, this is what he reacted. How he reacted like. The postmaster and the post office employees were very generous, and as they contributed for the act of charity, first they laughed when they saw Lencho's letter to God, but soon they were impressed by his faith of God. So initially they laughed, but then initially they made fun of it. But then they actually were impressed by his faith in God and his optimism. They decided to send some money to Lencho so that his faith in God does not get shaken. They collected 70 pesos and sent to Lencho. When Lencho got the envelope and opened it to count money, he became angry. He again wrote a letter to God demanding the remaining 30 pesos. He thought that post office employees had taken his money away, the remaining money, and called them a bunch of crooks, which was not justified at all, as they were the people who had helped him. But it shows his innocence and firm faith in God. Okay, so though it is ironical, but it ultimately shows his faith, and how innocent he was and how much faith he had in God. Okay, how did the hailstones affect Lencho's field? What was Lencho's only hope? We all know that. How did it impacted the field, affected the field? Okay, Lencho, a hardworking farmer, worked like an ox for a good harvest, dependent completely on his fields to take care of his family, for his livelihood. He expected a good harvest that year. He needed a downpour for the crops to ripe, but the rain followed by hailstorm completely destroyed the crops. It made him sad. He was sorrowful, miserable. He was worried for his family as he loved them so much. But Lencho had firm faith in God and believed that nobody died of hunger, so he decided to seek help from God instead of his relatives and neighbors. He wrote a letter to God, addressing to God, asked him for 100 pesos to survive and to sow new crop. All right. So that was all for this particular video. I hope you would have learnt and you would have now known the entire summary, the detailed summary of this chapter. And I hope that all the keywords that we have understood in themes and all the poetic devices which adds to new learning and all the new vocabulary that you have learnt all this while will help you in your exams, and you are going to now write good answers, I'm sure of that. So that was all for this particular video. I hope that you will continue to read, and do not forget to give a complete reading, line by line reading to this chapter. You can watch the previous video also, and also to inspire us, to help us in our journey of growing. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel, and please share such videos which are helpful to you, which may also be helpful to your friends also. That was all. Continue to grow and continue to learn. Love what you watched? Give it a thumbs up, share it with friends and subscribe for more.